Hey guys, welcome to Game Week 23 on FPL, and there's big decisions. I'm so close to wildcarding. I'll obviously show you what my team is looking like this week and the potential wildcard draft as well. If I don't wildcard this week, it might be a next wildcard next week. So before anything, last week was a disaster. 32 points out of an average of 40. That's 8 points behind. Most transfers in and out were obviously Bruno Fernandes. Let me just turn my light on. That might help. Bruno Fernandes and Bemo, Thiago, Dorgu and Semenyo, with Foden, Gahey, Saka, Rodgers, Shirky all out. The big decisions. 213,000 people wildcarding. A lot of transfers being made. You know, it's the right decision. It's just whether it's too early, because there is obviously rumours from game week 30 onwards, blanks, double game weeks and so forth. If you go early, it does cause a huge problem. But let's look in the points last week. 32. Obviously, we made the one transfer last week. I can't even remember who it was. Don't know. Oh yes, it was. Don't know. Ruffles and goal. No clean sheets points there. Anderson 2 points in a game against Leeds. They should have won, or you would think they would win. They got nothing. Timber against that 0-0 Forest. Play 90 minutes. Did get a yellow card, unfortunately, which is obviously a minus points. And then Mukalele 2-1 against Palace. Minutes played, assist, yellow card, and defensive contributions all in there. Obviously, Arsenal. Saka only played 33 minutes, which was so surprising. But obviously, with Champions League football in the midweek, it makes sense now. Bruno G got injured in midweek, which isn't good. Etitike, Watermara and Haaland did absolutely nothing. And we had 15 points of Dogu on the bench, Patrick Dogu on the bench, who scored a goal against Man City and obviously kept a clean sheet. That was a disappointing result. Obviously good for Man United beating City, but obviously, a devastating decision, which means we make no changes. There is no changes in the league at all from last week, which is a surprise. I think one of the first times ever. But yes, obviously, Octopus United still top. Zach failing to go second week in a row after being on the show. 51 points. Raya, Gabriel, Anderson, Mukalele, Vert, Anderson, Minter, Bowen, Dogu on the bench. Zach had 32, similar to us. Raya, Lacrosse, Gabriel, Cash, Shirky, Soberslyer, Bruno G, Rice, Rodgers, Watkins, Haaland, James. Tough one there. Everyone's between 30s and 50s. If we go to the highest scoring team, it was a bench boost of Alisson in goal, Patrick Dogu captain, which is again no one would have predicted against Man City. Hall, Fawn, Chalobah, Timber, Palmer, Bruno Saka, and Bemo Rao, Sanchez, Atatike, Wilson, Calvin Lewin. I like that. I like the back line, to be fair. That's good. Which means coming into this week, this is how the team lines up. We got rid of Watermara finally. To go back to Thiago. Maybe off a bit late going back to him, but obviously we did have him at the start, and so forth. Waffles in goal against West Ham is a good fixture. Man City against Wolves is a good fixture. Man United, triple up Arsenal against Man United isn't great. But then we're also tripping up on Sunderland against West Ham, which is dangerous. Could work out, couldn't. Rodgers against Newcastle with obviously Bruno G out injured could help. And then the front three remains the same with Haaland captain, Atatike against Bournemouth, and Thiago on the front three with Dubravka, Anderson, Dogu, and Bruno G on the bench. So this is obviously what my team looks like without a wild card. The only change I would potentially make to this team if I wasn't going to wild card is Bruno G out, because I don't know how long he's going to be out for, and we bring in Enzo, which means 1.1 million against Crystal Palace is not a bad fixture. It's also not great. But, and then obviously I probably would drop Rodgers anyway. Let's reset the squad. Because this is what my wildcard is going to look like. We keep Dubravka, we keep Gahey, we keep Mukulele, Saka, Rice, Thiago, Haaland, which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players we'd be getting rid of, which is why a wildcard is something I'm potentially looking at. And I'm going to kind of go through the picks that I want. And then you can let me know in the comments down below. If I don't go out for this week, it will be definitely probably next week. So, in goal, Waffles is good, but I think Sanchez, with obviously apart from that Crystal Palace game, with obviously West Ham, Wolves, Leeds, Burnley, great fixtures there to target. Timber comes out, and the reason he comes out is because I want to upgrade it to Gabriel. Now, it's not a must, but Gabriel is a little bit better. But if you don't have the money, I think Timber can definitely do a good job. The other option is then to get rid of Anderson and to go to Vosky, which is a nice pick with obviously Everton's fixtures: Leeds, Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Man United, Newcastle, Burnley. Arsenal and Chelsea ain't great, but obviously decent enough. We're coming back to Dogu because it all depends on the midfield. So firstly, obviously Bruno G to Enzo is pretty much a must. Then I would be looking at someone like Bruno Fernandes. With obviously, if I don't go this week, you look at he's coming in against Fulham, Spurs, West Ham, Everton, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Aston Villa, Bournemouth. Okay, obviously these fixtures aren't great, but with Bruno playing as at 10, I think he would definitely thrive in that role, which is obviously nice. Then obviously we've got a defender, a striker, and a midfielder. Well, striker wise, there's two options. There's Mainey. No, forwards. There's Mainey from Wolves. Obviously, Wolves' fixtures aren't great, but for a cheap striker, especially towards the end of the season, is a decent pick. And the other one is obviously a favourite of the channel, a favourite of FPL this season, Krupi. 4.6, above the same, which means in the midfield, obviously we can keep Granit Xhaka. It's not a problem, which means we've got 5.9 million to spend on a defender, or we can upgrade him and go to Ndiaye, who's obviously coming back from AFCON with obviously Leeds, Brighton, those good fixtures to target, which is decent. And then 4.8 million, you could look at someone like, I believe, Senesi. 4.8. That would be a very good squad. Sanchez, good fixtures are upcoming. Obviously, if you didn't want to go Sanchez because you're not unsure on Chelsea's defensive approach, I would recommend staying with Ruffles. The backline speaks for itself. 4 good options, and Mukinlele, who's been an outstanding option to rotate in and out. Obviously, Saka, Rice, 2 good options. Enzo Fernandez, you targeting that beautiful Chelsea fixtures. Man United again, Bruno, the heartbeat of that team. Playing in the 10, he will obviously deliver. And Ndiaye's a good option for Everton going forward. Obviously, only returning from AFCON. So obviously you don't know how he's going to get back into that Everton team. You'd think he'd walk into it because obviously there's injuries and so forth. But obviously it probably will take him a couple of game weeks to get back into the Premier League physicality. And I don't know about that one. I think the front three is decent enough. Obviously, Liverpool against Bournemouth this week would be good, just to try it. So this could be a potential game week 24 team, but it's something I would look at. But yeah, again, there's a couple of places you could change, but like I said, 32 points, 8 changes. A wildcard is definitely needed to refresh and start hitting those points, targeting those good fixtures. Obviously, I would love to wait to game week 31 and 32 to start planning that the potential wild card. But the team is not good enough, and I don't really want to be taking minuses points every single week. So this is the team I'm potentially going to go with. By tomorrow morning, I would have decided whether I activate my wild card or just take the -4 points from Bruno G to Enzo, and then potentially plan for a wild card. But if I'm taking -4 points this week, is it really worth taking the -4 points this week rather than just wildcarding next week when Enzo comes in? That's the question. But for now, guys, obviously these are the two squads. You can see the massive difference between the two. Let me know what I should do, and I'll see you. I'll definitely put a YouTube short out on tonight what I've decided, and I probably will do a morning stream if I have the chance, because I know sometimes in the morning the app doesn't work. So obviously I need to make a decision tonight. But yeah, a potential wild card this week or next week. Thank you for watching, guys. Goodbye.